Hello, this morning I'm going to be addressing the issue of modes. Now, modes are basically your major scale rearranged around a tonic note. It's not as difficult as you may think it is, so I would like us to quickly go into it. Now, the first mode, which every one of us know, is the Ionian mode, which we usually commonly call the major scale. For this video, we are going to be using C as a reference note. Now, our C Ionian mode would be the same as C major scale. So you are going to have Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, corresponding to C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. Now, so we have 7 solfas that make up the Ionian mode. That's Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti. Now, what you're going to do to understand this better is you take that tonic note and make it each of these solfas. Now, in this case, for the C Ionian mode, your C happens to be your Do, which is a tonic. Now, for the Dorian mode, which is the second mode, you try as much as possible to make your C your Re, that's your supertonic. Now, how do you do this? Now, you play C and let it be Re. Now, what is the distance from Do to Re? It is what? A tone. So you count backwards. 1, 2. 2 half steps make a tone. That's 2 semitones. And you have B flat. So if you start on B flat, you have a major scale that makes C the supertonic, that's Re. So this simply means that your C Dorian mode is the same as your B flat major scale. Let me take that again. Your C Dorian mode is the same as your B flat major scale. We'll be talking about the use very soon. Then we move on to the next. Now, the next is the Phrygia mode. Now, as you may have suspected, the Phrygia mode will make the tonic a mediant. Now, what is a mediant? That is your Mi. Now, you still go to C, and if this is Mi, Re, Do, so there's a new tonic, and the new tonic is at A flat. Do. What this simply means is that your C Phrygian mode is the same as your A flat major scale. Remember, I said we're still going to look at the practical use of all this. Now, the next scale or the next mode is called the Lydian mode, where your C now becomes your 4th note. That's the subdominant, your Fa. Now, automatically that falls here on G. So your G major scale is your C Lydian scale. So because you have Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti. So your G major scale is the same as your C Lydian scale. We'll get to the practicality. Now let's move on to the next. We have the Mixolydian mode. Now, as you may have suspected too, your C would have to be your Sol or your dominant. So where does this fall? It falls on F. your C is your dominant. Your C becomes what this simply means is that your C Lydian mode is the same as your F major scale. The only difference would get to know about that. It has to do with the starting point of the scale. Alright, so we're still going on. The next would be the Aeolian mode, where your C happens to be the La in this case. Now if you remember, so this will be La, is it not? Now if this is La, this will be Do. So E flat major scale is the same thing as your C Aeolian mode. So you have Do, Re, Mi. So your E flat major scale is the same as your C Aeolian mode. We'll get into this into detail very soon. So C Aeolian is the same as E flat major scale. Then the last is the Locrian mode, where your C happens to be the T in this case. So if C happens to be T, your Do is C sharp or D flat. Now this follows this pattern. So we see it. So every key can also have this. Now how do we apply the modes? Following the major scale and the kind of chords they form, what this simply tells you is that you have 3 major modes and 3 minor modes. What this simply means is that your Dorian mode, your Phrygian mode, and your Aeolian mode are going to be minor modes. Your 2, 3, and 6, just the way your 2, 3, and 6 are secondary chords, their modes are actually going to be minor modes, since the chords they form are minor chords. So when you're holding down a minor chord, you can play these modes over those minor chords, and you begin to have a beautiful coloration to that particular chord. Then we have 3 major chords, that's the 1, the 4, and the 5. That's your Ionian mode, the Lydian mode, and the Lydian mode. What this simply means is if you play these modes over your major chord, they don't sound bad either. They sound nice and they tend to add flavor to it. The Locrian mode is rarely used. It's mostly used when you play diminished chords and the rest, but we'll get into that later. So I think I've been able to do justice to the issue of modes. So just a recap, we have the Ionian mode, the Dorian, the Phrygian, the Lydian, the Lydian, the Aeolian, and the Locrian. And all you're doing to create these modes is to change the position of the reference note, which was formerly your tonic. So you're making that same tonic the supertonic, the mediant, the subdominant, the dominant, the submediant, and you're also making it a leading note. That is all there is to it. It opens a whole world for jazz improvisation. I will get into that, but not in this lesson. This is just an introduction to modes. Thanks for listening. God bless you.